something strange unfold. Hear the weirdest tale that was ever told. From this rare depiction, some will swear it's fiction. Yet each peculiar twist that I tell is true, and you shall see it in plain view. Right before your eyes, marvel as magic is on display. Right before your eyes, all might seem tragic, but then it's okay. Poof, a new surprise right before your eyes. Buckle up, we're off on a bumpy ride, where a magic spell and a boy collide. Plus our story features tons of crazy creatures and two atrocious aunts every child will fear. Oh dear, who knows what might appear right before your eyes? Ferocious and scary adventures start right before your eyes. Children, be wary if you're faint of heart. Pray that no one dies right before your eyes. We'll make a potion that can glow in the dark. We'll sort in the northern star. They took it cookie, a spooky. You might want a shock. It's all a bit bizarre. Right before your eyes. There might be sunshine or thunder, but we proceed. Right before your eyes. Frenzy and wonder, what else would we need? We've got James and the giant peaks that wise. The raptors are in disguise. So let that curtain rise. Right before. Here we go, children. Right before. Oh, so much fun. Right before your eyes.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Beyond the Veil. I'm excited to share with you guys today this crazy Decode. I do want to see what I got going on over here in the chat box. I was just finally getting in here to look at you guys. What had happened was, it's never happened in the history of Beyond the Veil. I got straight up kicked off StreamYard, which is the streaming platform I use. I mean, it shut me completely out, so I had to get back in. That's why it cut out. So if you're watching this and that happened, I'm very sorry. I do my best. I'm no like electrical person or like a computer whiz or anything like that. I am a Bible reader. That's about it. So I'm very excited to crack into this with you. But before we get going, I do want to say there are some new people here on our page today that I have kind of been in contact with throughout the day today, which has been pretty awesome. I had spoken over on another channel yesterday, Understanding Conspiracy, and it was about a 3.5 hour long broadcast. It was crazy. But with that, we were managed to reach them with a lot of truth over there. Some of them were like throwing a ball at a hard wall and it just bouncing right off. But some of them were actually able to look at those scriptures and observe what was being said and take a look at it in the Bible's view rather than just worldly situations, which I love. So we've had a lot of people asking a lot of questions today, kind of in the background, which is great. So they're probably here with us right now in the chat box. So everybody, make sure you keep this thing PG-13 and please respect each other's views. Don't get down there and just go back and forth and back and forth. Because I witnessed all of that mess yesterday at a channel and I'm not used to that craziness, okay? If you guys are going to bring up comments and things like that, as far as like things that have nothing to do with this, just wait till the end of the video or something. It's important for you to hear everything that's presented, not just like a section or three parts of a 10-word sentence. I want you to hear all of it. And that can't happen when you're back and forth bickering and arguing and go off things that you're told instead of trying to hear someone else's point of view. So I'm asking you to please be respectful of one another today. All are welcome, and your opinions are indeed welcome over here, but there's a difference in an opinion and a bash. So just wanted to go on and put that in the room, that we don't have that kind of stuff happening over here on this channel, and I do not want it to turn into a World War III zone over here on this channel. That's not what we represent by no means. Be respectful. So that's all I'm going to say with that. Now to Chitty Chitty-Bang Bang. There's been a group on my Facebook page that has been very excited about this decode since last week when I brought it up. There are some younger generation people that are like, what in the world is Chitty Chitty-Bang Bang? Which kind of shocked me. You know, I'm 33 years old. I turned 34 in November. And me growing up, it was a classic. I loved it. I watched that, and I jumped from that to Mary Poppins, on over to a bunch of stuff, Little Rascals, you know, all those old movies that we loved so much, and yet it was so much in there that we didn't even pay attention to, like these children back here getting taken. I remember being as a kid, I want nothing I was really ever worried about, is being taken by someone, being snatched, being grabbed and pulled away from your family. And yet today, I don't even want my son to go to the mailbox by himself. It's pretty strange. And you know, the parents are like, well, when I was a kid, we would be out in the woods and we'd be wandering the streets on our bikes and stuff. You do that today. I don't know if I even want my kids to do that anymore unless I'm right there with them. Let's make that clear. You know, one of the biggest things that's going on in the world today is abductions. Children, women, even some men, masculine or feminine men. You never know in today's world. People getting snatched and taken. And on top of that, we have this whole, before I say this is for entertainment purposes only, YouTube. We have this whole consumption of the flesh that's taking place in the world today. Vaccines, you know, come from all the baby fetuses that are aborted, that women are so excited, it's not all women, that some women are so excited to get out of their life and out of their belly, they hand over to the doctors, and those doctors hand it over to science. And science takes those baby fetuses and microblasts them into billions and billions of tiny little particles. And then they put them in vaccines. Because in order to cure something, you have to have something that can fight against it from your natural body. So every time you get any type of vaccine, most of the time, you're pretty much doing something the Bible says, nuh-uh. But to whom much is given, much is required. To whom little is given, little is asked. Don't do it anymore. Not to mention this, you know, it's a proven thing nowadays about stay away from McDonald's. Stay away from all kinds of fast food burgers. Why? Well, same thing. It says in your Bibles that in these days you will indeed be consuming your own children. You will be doing all the things that were happening before the flood. Consumption of the flesh was one of the highest things happening before the flood. And people want to deny it and things like that. It is what it is. Okay? So I say all that. And I want to bring up something else too. Why are they being taken? And why does our enemy like to target people in general, but mostly children? Why? Well, because of this. There was different things that happened at the beginning of your Bible. Different curses were placed on different things. For example, Adam was told that he'd have to work for everything that's in the soil. He'd have to work the soil, work the dirt, and bring life by working the soil. His was to take care of the land and the dust of the earth, the dirt in the earth. What is the dust of the earth? Well, we're all from Adam. The dust of the earth is indeed us. And there are thorns and thistles growing these days, and there's tares and wheats all in the world, just as it was back then. It says word for word, I will put enmity, hatred, violence, war between your offspring, Eve, and your offspring, Satan. And then he said something else. Hey, Eve, you're going to have an increase in labor and birth pains. It's going to be horrible. Hey, Satan, you're going to have to slide around on your belly and consume the dust of the earth. Is he eating dirt? No, we are the dust of the earth. He has to eat the flesh. But what another thing other people are missing is this. Well, when Cain comes on the picture, something else was told to him, that he would no longer. Now you need to know, there was a sacrifice that took place outside of the garden. Abel, he brought forth a firstling and all its fat and sacrificed to the Lord. And the Lord looked down on Abel and didn't look at Cain. And Cain got all upset. God looks at Cain. He's like, hey, man, why are you dropping your countenance? He's like, don't you know, if you'll repent of your ways and do different and do things different, you know, there's forgiveness. But lo, sin is knocking at your door. And then he kills his brother. And then from there, a curse is placed on him too, you know, because you got Adam a curse, Eve a curse, the snake a curse. Now we have Cain a curse. Did Abel get cursed? Well, he was just doing what he was supposed to be doing. Technically, he was a herdsman. Okay. So here's this. Because of that, Cain was told this: you will no longer get your strength from what? From the things that come from the earth, as far as fruits and vegetables, because that's what he was doing. He offered a fruit offering, a vegetable offering. That's what he offered. But God said this to Cain: you shall no longer get your strength from the fruits of the earth. This is why you read about the Nephilim and the consumption of the flesh and cannibalism. His blood cried out from the earth. See, that's going to be hard to accept for a lot of people. But it is what it is. You read all about that time forward of all the Nephilim, which are products of, you know, corruption of your seed, were known for eating the consumption of the flesh. So he no longer could get anything from the earth. It wouldn't work for him. He had no green thumb anymore. He had to figure out something else. Okay, so that happened. But why ultimately now are they focusing on children? Well, it all started with the city of Enoch, which is true Egypt. That was before the flood. Tenochtitlan, if you want to be specific, which has been wrongly dated in today's world. Okay, and what happened back there in the city of Enoch that was built by Cain for his bad son Enoch, the third person from there, okay, is this. Okay, you have Isis, Ishtar, Semiramis, the goddess of Egypt. She was introduced a bunch of things to Egypt, including the charcoaling, the darkening of the eyes, the eyeliner, so that you can trick a man into thinking you look like something that you're not. And then she starts introducing the pigments and things like that go on your lips and your eyelids, so that you'll look like something that you're not. And next thing you know, she starts introducing the little strings, so that you start showing a lot of cleavage. You start showing a lot of skin. And make sure you paint it gold and make it look shiny too. So they put the little gold all over themselves, and then the little lacy fishnets all in that too as well. So it looks scaly. That's why you have fishnets, to make you look like you have scales. That's why women wear they don't even realize what they're wearing on their legs. They're making themselves have scales. Pretty nuts. But do you know what else was brought up back then? Well, the achrome, that's such a popular topic today, is in the books of ancient Egypt of what they were doing back then. Same thing. They'd capture these children, because you know all about Egypt after the flood. You hear about Pharaoh and all of them drowning all the kids in the Nile and throwing them to the crocodiles and things like that, right? The crocodiles, the reptiles, throwing them in the Nile to the crocodiles and the reptiles. Well, you know what else is nuts is this. They'd get, and this is according to those writings, they'd get them kids so scared, terrified, to the point where their adrenaline would have to kick in. Why? Why do they wait for that moment? Well, haven't you seen the new Avatar movie? In the new Avatar movie, they did the same thing with the whale creatures. They get them scared, they chase them, they torture them, and get them real scared, and then they'd kill it and go inside and harvest that adrenaline that comes out of the whale. Same thing with the children. See, your Bible says when we are weak, he is strong. Do you know what adrenaline is and why it's called adrenochrome? Oh, adrenaline. What is adrenaline? It's something that you're not. It's when we are weak, he is strong. It's when the God gene is released in your body. That's what they're after. The things that give life because they no longer have it. Gives them a source of energy because they don't have it. So they want to get every bit of it they could. And then on top of it, do you know what else it does? Because of it being a god gene, okay, it just is what it is. You're not a god. You need to know that. You're a lowercase, if anything, and that's according to Psalms and John. We talked about on my Facebook page today when it literally says ye are gods, lowercase Gods. Okay, that's it. You're not like your own Messiah. He's your Messiah. Okay. Now, what's happening in today's world is this: because of that achrome, that stuff that comes out, women have learned that it causes something strange. It causes a tightening of the skin and causes a youthful uh, beautification, which goes right back to Ishtar and Semiramis and Isis and whoever of the continuous goddess revealing, and then also the son of Tammuz. Um, Tammuz, we've got Horus, and we've got, I can just going on and on and on with that whole repeat thing that we've covered so much. So they're doing that still today. Haven't you ever wondered why Jennifer Aniston, who is an open witch, has admitted to being a witch, is doing what she's doing? How about the Princess Diaries girl? She's openly admitted to using not just baby blood, but baby foreskin. Pretty nuts. Open. Yeah, I do it. You should too. Now, you know what hurts me so much? You guys ever go in Walmart and see the missing children posters? Most of the people don't even know they're there. They just put it up there because, I mean, nobody even really looks at it. But if you go look at that thing, it'll make your heart just drop. Drop. Okay. So that's one of the reasons we're going to talk about this show today, is about kidnapping kids for a certain thing. Okay. And we know about the evil, wicked queen in this movie here. If you're a part of the older generation, the Baroness is what she's called. The Baroness. We have King Baron, who is over here. This man with his eye winked, okay, right here on his little horse. Okay. This is King Baron, and his wife is Queen Baroness. And they both hate children. Hate children. She's so grossed out by them. She's like, ah, it freaks out. And he also wants to, if they're caught in this movie, this man comes after him and they'll capture the children and you'll never see them again. Hence the children being captured. Why were they capturing children? Well, I'm going to ask you guys this because I love some interaction and I love seeing how much you guys know the Word of God. Why was Pharaoh ultimately killing the children? Does anybody know? And while you're figuring that out, if you've read the book of Jasher, whether you think it's canonical or not, in that book, why was Nimrod killing little boys? And why did Abraham have to skedaddle for a bit and go live with someone else? Why? Okay, now let's think about another time. That's two different periods I've pointed out in time. Now let's look at another point in time. When Christ came into the world, why did Christ have to go into Egypt exiled with his family for 2.5 years? Why? Boom, Matthew. Man, I'm so proud of you, dude. Look at this. To stop the Messiah from being born. Absolutely. Okay? To stop Christ from coming, to stop him. Now, with the Nimrod story, what happened was this. Nimrod had a horrible dream, freaking out. He's like, oh no, I'm going to die. Somebody is going to kill me. Who's it going to be? Turns out they say that it's someone in the line of Abraham. So he starts freaking out and he starts searching for Abraham, killing all these kids, thinking that it's Abraham's. Next thing you know, you have Lot or Abraham's dad, which are brothers either way, had come and snitched on Abraham and turned him over to Nimrod. And ultimately, Abraham gets thrown in a fire next to Lot's dad for 3 days. Lot's dad dies immediately in the fire, and Abraham stands in there getting ministered to, just like Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, for 3 days in the fire. Is what took place there. Pretty incredible. But it turned out the only reason why he didn't get killed is because he got out and he told Nimrod, he's like, Don't you see? I'm protected by God. Ultimately, he leaves Ur of the Chaldeans. This is where the Bible picks up. And you ever wonder why he was a righteous man? And maybe that got snatched out. There's a whole lot in there because of this. Anybody want to tell me who killed Nimrod? Hey, let's see who's listening before in our other streams. Who killed Nimrod? And how did he do it? Anybody want to tell me? This is pretty crazy. If it wasn't Abraham, who was it? And why was Jasher taken out? Well, I'm going to tell you. Man, you're on fire, Matthew, dude. Esau, good job. Ain't buying it too. I see you down there too. Esau beheaded Nimrod. Esau was out in the field with his big old hairy red self. And while he was out there with his big old red hairy self, he was a hunter of men, is what Esau was as well. And he went and found Nimrod in the field with his men. And Esau comes up behind him and slices Nimrod's head off. See, but it's not just that. That story picks up with the whole story of Semiramis trying to put Nimrod back together again because he had been disassembled. Well, have you ever wondered why that part of the book is taken out as well? Absolutely. So it turned out Nimrod was going after the wrong one. He went after Abraham, and he should have waited a generation and went after Esau because Esau ultimately killed Nimrod. What it is I'll put enmity, hatred, violence, a separation between your seed and your seed. So they're at war with one another, and one always overcomes the other. So now we have the life of Christ. They went and killed all the children thinking they were killing the right one, but God protected his son. Okay. And next thing you know, they come back in and they're fine after Herod's death. Okay. Now let's look at Moses. Have you guys ever read the Apocrypha of Moses and things like that? If not, it's okay. I encourage you just to read your 66 books first. Okay. And then you can get into extra stuff. You know, the same thing took place with Moses. See, with Moses, here's what took place. You ever wonder why the dad's not really brought up, just like Joseph is never brought up with the story of Moses? But instead it's Miriam and his mother. And his mother had to go feed him at Pharaoh's because she put him in a basket and pushed him down the river. It's strange. Out of all the children that were getting killed right then, he was sealed in an ark. It said that God sealed him in. There's only one other time where God sealed someone in, and that's Noah. When Noah built the ark, he couldn't take credit for it because it was God who closed the door and sealed them in. When Miriam assembled that basket, she couldn't take credit for him because it was God who sealed him in so the crocodiles in the water wouldn't get him. So here's Moses, same thing, being protected because Pharaoh was trying to stop something that he knew keeps arising in the world to destroy his legacy. God found a way to put Moses right beside him. Pretty incredible. So we have multiple points in history in the Bible where the wicked king is trying to stop a child from coming into the world. Have you guys been paying attention to the story we've been covering in the Bible lately about the woman and the dragon who was about to give birth? And the dragon was trying to go after the woman to consume the child that would come into the world. But she was taken away and gave birth to the child, and then he ascended to the Father, and they said she was taken by an eagle to be comforted for a time and a half. We have the same thing taking place. Okay? It's wild. Well, you need to know something. The devil today, who has been released again, and the Antichrist today, Osiris risen, Nimrod risen, Gilgamesh risen, Tubal-Cain risen. Let's see how else we can go through. Nero risen. What's his name? Constantine the Great, who was the second beast back then, because it was Nero, the time of Israel when Jerusalem fell, and then we have the time of Constantine, and then Rome fell. Okay, first to the Jews, then to the Gentiles, and then the 1,000 years of 450 to 1450. Pretty nuts. Which picks up exactly where it says 1,200 and another time as well. So it's actually more than 1,000 years total, being Christ's reign started when all authority was given unto him. So today, in today's world, Satan knows this, and the Antichrist knows this. Oh no, this is a little horn "Oh no, Osiris," says Satan to his son. "Oh no, Osiris. Oh no, Nimrod. Oh no, Nebuchadnezzar. Oh no, you wicked king who keeps coming back 10 times. This time you're a short little king and you got a short little season. And I've got a short little season too. And I'm wroth," as he looks over at his son. He says this time let's try to deceive the world and let's try stopping a generation from coming in the world. Well, guess what's happening? Well, we talked about Gog and Hitler coming on the scene and introducing a mark of the beast over there on that side of the world and killing millions and millions of Jews. First to the Jews and then to the Gentiles. Then we have Project Paperclip, where Nazis in the Hitler Party come over here to America, Magog. And then you have the second beast emerging with the same power as the first. Because, Nazi Party and Hitler did this. They started convincing everybody, let's make these nice camps in cities and things so we can have things provided. Let's do these things. Let's make Germany great. Let's create the ultimate race. And in only 1 year, technically, we looked at it. It was only 3 months later, he had turned it into a concentration camp starting off already. He had tricked everybody in only a 3-month. Okay. So we have that taking place. And killing and killing and killing. He's like, oh, we're going to stop it. There's going to be no remnant. There's going to be no camp of saints here. We're going to stop and kill all the children of God. We're going to stop and kill all the elect living in the final days of tribulation. We're going to kill all the children that have been born again in Christ so we can stop this and rule the world one more time. Well, now over here in America, they're like, okay, we did good over there. Now we've got a real society over here of an army that we've built up of reals. Let's do it again. First to the Jews, then to the Gentiles. So we're over here with the Gentiles now, us, who can't figure out how to do anything back from the old original laws and things like that. Got us over here, and he's about to do the same thing. 15-minute cities coming in. I ain't even got to say his name. 15-minute cities coming in. Freedom cities is what he's calling them. Noahide law, Judaism. Okay? He openly admitted the other day to you guys, he's not a Christian. Okay. And he told you Christians, he said, hey, Christians, get out and vote, if only for this time. And he says, we'll never have to vote again after this. Don't you know he wants your vote? You need to know what's coming. Okay. I don't want to push the Donald Trump button too much right now because people will drop off like flies because I'm talking about the hero. But let's go because I'm going to prove something to you intensely tonight. And it is going to be indeed intense. Okay, so once again, at this very end of time, we have this trying to kill all the children happening. But this time, let the tares and the wheats grow together, and at the time of harvest, first snatch up the tares, put them in bundles, toss them into the lake of fire, and then gather my wheat into my barn. Okay, so there's that, right? Strange the connections that were just made in the only 33 minutes and 23 seconds we've been talking. We've already went through a whole lot of stuff that a lot of people don't even talk about. And I ain't even got started with Chitty Chitty-Bang Bang yet. But I want to put this in perspective for you so you see what's going on right now. Okay. So the first thing we're going to do is let me get my screen share pulled up. I do want to say welcome. If new people in the chat box, look, you have so much to catch up on. And if it's something I say that you disagree with today, everyone in this comment box will say, you don't even know the amount of information that he packs into one 3-hour-long video, and he has 129 videos. Take time to hear me for a little bit and do the math with all the videos together instead of hearing one video one time and basing your whole understanding off of that. Okay? I just want to share that. There's a lot of people that have come back and they've had change of minds of what they've learned before that was untrue, and they've since changed and grown closer to God and closer to his son who saved us all. Okay, so there's that. Here we go, guys. If you don't know, this is Chitty Chitty-Bang Bang because he will take you up on wings like eagles and he will fly you away to safety. So let me see something real quick. So I need to make sure I'm on the right screen. So this is Chitty Chitty-Bang Bang right here. And this is the car, the main car. Okay, this is Craticus Pot. You can't really see this. I'm going to show you guys some better picture. This is Craticus Pots. Okay, and this is Truly Scrumptious. And these are their two lovely blonde hair, blue-eyed, and blonde hair. Look, and I'm not saying anything wrong with blonde hair, blue-eyed people. You're going to hear that a lot on my channel. It has nothing to do with anything other than putting the light bearing in your face, okay? Because everything's about redemption in these days. When Christ died, he opened the door for Jews and Gentiles, male and females. All. Okay? Everyone has a chance. Cain was even given a chance to repent. Pharaoh was given a chance to repent. Nebuchadnezzar was given a chance to repent. The king of Nineveh, who was actually Nimrod again, was given a chance to repent. 10 times he was given a chance to repent. The last season's a short season for a reason, because he's going to cut it off, just like he did with Pharaoh. Okay? So in this movie, let's go through some storyline real quick for those of you that have not watched this. Pay attention to the dates of when this takes place, and more importantly than that, take notes of just whatever kind of comes to you. You'll see. Just watch. Let's do this, okay? Let's just go through the plot. This is a little bit of reading, okay? But it is what it is. This is a crazy movie. If you've watched this movie, you know. Because you probably, like me, watched it a million times and you know every single word of this. I want to tell you guys how I brought this up. So me and my wife have this rotational thing going on where she'll keep my daughter the first half of the night, and I'll wake up kind of early morning and I'll take Mia and I'll have her for the rest of the morning till about like 10:30, 11, maybe 12 sometimes. It's so incredible because of this. I wake up and I'm wide awake in the mornings, and I have my daughter out there. And so I get to have my own little personal decode time. My son's asleep in his room. My wife's back there, not, resting and stuff. So she's at a happy place. And I'm in the living room with my sweetest little girl in the world. And I get to watch old movies. So we watched Little House on the Prairie. You guys ever seen that? I love it. I feel like it's one of the only clean shows in history. Okay. We watched Little House on the Prairie. And we also got into this. Chitty Chitty-Bang we were watching the other day, and while I was laying there on the couch, I was like, how did I miss all of this? I wanted to say, Amy, come here and look at this, and Brayden, come look at this, because I always get them involved in my decodes, but kept it to myself, and it's a lot. Okay, we're gonna be going through names, we're gonna be going through everything, and it is nuts. All right, Little House on the Prairie, y'all guys are gonna look that up. Some people don't even know what that is, but I try to find clean shows too. So here we go. Let's look at this plot. 1909 is when they had this flying car here. You need to realize this is a story, but you'll see where I'm getting at. In rural England, Jemima and Jeremy, the two young children of the widowed, unsuccessful inventor Caradicus Potts, played by Dick Van Dyke, one of my favorite actors in history, who I have yet to see kind of one bad thing kind of come out of him yet. Not saying that he's probably not corrupt either. It is what it is. But man, that guy's a loving man. Okay. It's no wonder that his name literally means, this is pretty cool. Caradicus means in Latin, loving, beloved, and dear friend. And if we want to look at another website, we can look at another. Caradicus, this is the historic UK history of England, means this. Caradicus was a British chieftain who fought against Rome and the Roman expansion, only to be betrayed by the queen and taken captive by the Romans, transported as a prisoner to Rome, then finally freed by Emperor Claudius to live the rest of his life in exile. Okay, so he was one that goes up against Rome, and his name literally means beloved, friend, and the other thing. I don't know why this is popping up here now. Let's see what's going on here. Anyway, so there's that. So back to the storyline. Now that you know who Caradicus is. Caradicus is the man driving this car. Become enthralled by the wreck of a champion race car. The car that he drives here, that's all shiny and new, was part of the big uprising of motor vehicles and everything that was taking place from that point a little bit forward, where they would race cars and get them real fast, get them loud, get them going real good, crazy looking cars. Well, the car that he had, it was doing good in the race. And next thing you know, it runs off and then burns and busts into flames and burns and just collapses. So the scrapper takes it and keeps it at a scrapyard. And the two little children see it and they're like, oh, I love it. I love it. And he was about to sell it to this greedy man that was being mean to the kids. He was like, I'm going to take this car and I'm going to melt it down and grind it up. Telling them kids that, well, they were just telling him that they love that car. Don't do it. While they're sitting there beeping the horn, they're beep, 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 beep. He's like, oh, I'm going to melt this thing down and turn it into like a paperweight, crushing their hearts. So they go home and they go to their Papa Craticus and they tell him, they're like, oh, Dad, he's got this car and they're trying to be mean and da-da-da-da-da. And next thing you know, he pities his children and he's like, okay, I'll try to figure something out. So he puts his two children to bed that night. And when he puts them to bed, singing a beautiful song called Hushabye Mountain, which I love. I sang it to my daughter on the couch the other day. We have this. He goes out in his yard and he's sitting there thinking, and here comes this circus coming across the scene. And we know who the circus is, the entertainers. Circus comes across and we have Craticus Potts. Sees that goes on and he's an inventor. So he goes to this circus and he brings one of his inventions. That's a hair cutting machine. And the hair cutting machines ends up messing up the dude's hair real bad. And he chases Craticus all around inside the circus. And while he's doing that, he puts on an outfit real fast and acts like a carny and gets up there and dances on stage with them and does the Dick Van Dyke thing that he does is so good at. And next thing you know, people are throwing money at him. And he has just enough to stop by on his way home and get that car for his sweet little kids. So he comes, he's bringing it up in his house and he works on that thing like 3 days and 3 nights. He's working and working and working. And next thing you know, he brings it out and it's looking all shiny and new. They didn't know it had wings. They didn't know it had propellers. They didn't know it had any of that. He just made it shiny and new looking. And they go on an adventure in that car. But ultimately, before that takes place is where we're going to start here. Because I added a little bit more than what you're going to read here. You're going to kind of get a quick skim now. Here's this. Craticus Potts becomes enthralled by the wreck of a champion race car. When they learn the car is due to be scrapped, they return home. You two and beg their father to save it. You raise money. He attempts to sell one of his inventions, a musical hard candy, but the candy's whistle attracts a horde of dogs, ruining his sales pitch. I forgot to tell you, he tried to raise money by making a candy to sell to Truly Scrumptious's dad, and he ends up rejecting it ultimately because it brought a bunch of dogs into his candy factory. So that's why it ultimately had to lead to him doing the carnival. Okay, so here's this. That evening, this is where I was picking up, Craticus sings his children a lullaby, Hushabye Mountain, before going to a carnival, where he attempts to raise money with another one of his inventions, an automatic hair-cutting machine. It malfunctions, ruining the customer's hair, and in order to escape the furious customer, Craticus joins a spirited song and dance act. Me old bamboo, never had a problem with the old bamboo. I know a lot of you know that song. And then he earns enough money in tips to buy the car and rebuilds it, naming it Chitty Chitty-Bang Bang after the sound it makes when he's driving. It's like Chitty Chitty-Bang Bang, Chitty Chitty-Bang Bang, Chitty Chitty-Bang Bang, Chitty Chitty-Bang. And next thing you know, they start singing, and they name the car Chitty Chitty-Bang Bang. Craticus and the children go to a beach to have a picnic, and they are joined by Truly Scrumptious, the wealthy heiress to the candy company, and though she and Craticus have previously had heated encounters, everyone has a pleasant time, truly scrumptious time at the beach. So Craticus tells his children a story, beginning an extended fantasy sequence. Now, here's where things got crazy. At this point, they're out there on the beach. Craticus is telling them a story. And he's telling them a story about he calls him the most evil and wicked king in the world. Okay, that was out looking for things to steal, inventions created by inventors. And this king's out there in his ship in the ocean, and he's got his long seeing glass is what you call those things. And Craticus tells his children, he's like, oh no, look, there he is. And while we've been sitting here talking this story, the tides come up and you look around and the car is like almost underwater. But something happens, a miracle of sorts. The car turns into a boat. It like blows up this big balloon thing and underneath the car, and they start running away from this pirate ship led by its captain. I want to show you. Baron. Oh, this is Vulgaria. Let's see. And these pages are like this because I earlier when the thing kicked off, I'm gonna let these be loading up real quick. Let me just be going through. Baron Bomburst. This is Baron Bomburst in his kingly form, but he also has a pirate ship form where he's out with his crew on the ship. So this man, Caraticus, who was wearing the same things as like the kings and all that stuff, and also has the Knights Templar cross, and also the double-headed eagle up here. You can see on other pictures where it's the double-headed eagle. The same double-headed eagle that is on Donald Trump's insignia, which I pointed out on my Facebook page the other day. He also has the double-headed eagle. Okay. This man here is out trying to catch that car because he wants it. He's like, I've got to have that car. I want that car. This is his most famous quote. Dolls, I have hundreds of dolls. This man's a billionaire, gets whatever he wants. He's a whiny little thing until he loses his crown. So he chases Caraticus and his family on their car boat around and round and round, and then they finally get away. Okay? So when they get away, what ends up happening is the grandpa, which is Caraticus, his dad, gets taken away by Baron Bomburst. They send somebody to Caraticus' house and they take the grandpa, mistaking him for the son, Caraticus. And he takes him over to his island. It's an island on the movie, but it was filmed in Bulgaria or Bavaria. And they call it Vulgaria. And yet it's an island on the movie, like surrounded by mountains. But also that's the only reason why they had to have the airship and the boat, the pirate ship, was because they could only travel by air and sea to get to the island of containment and from. Okay. So here's this. We have Baron Bomburst. The nasty Baron Bomburst, tyrannical ruler of the fictional land of Vulgaria, attempts to steal Chitty. The family escapes thanks to Chitty's miraculous transformation into a boat and truly goes home to Scrumptious Manor, singing lovely, 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 lonely man. And the Baron sends two bungling spies to get the car, but they fail repeatedly and eventually decide to kidnap Caraticus, the dad, the grandpa instead of Caraticus. As they fly away in their airship, Chitty sprouts wings like eagles and propellers. And the family pursues the airship all the way over the ocean as they're on their airship. They're on their plane, okay? Over to their contained kingdom of Vulgaria. So here we go again. Grandpa is taken to Bomburst Castle, where the Baron has already imprisoned several other elderly inventors, and they are ordered to make another floating car. Though there are failed attempts, when the party arrives, they find children have been outlawed in Bulgaria, as the Baron's wife, the Baroness, hates children. The kindly toy maker harbors the Potts family and truly in his toy ship. The group disguise themselves as Jack-in-the-Boxes to hide the children from the child catcher, but Chitty is discovered and taken to the castle. While Caraticus and the toy maker search for Grandpa and truly searches for food, the child catcher returns and traps the children. This is the child catcher here. Scary dude. He used to freak me out when I was a kid watching this show. I'm telling you, I've never seen a freaky dude like this man right here. He scares the mess out of me. Well, not anymore. I'm not a little kid anymore, but he's a scary dude. They did good picking the actor. It was all I'm going to say. While Caraticus and the toy maker search for Grandpa and truly searches for the food, the child catcher returns and traps the children. How does he get them? Well, there's the white vans in today's world where they're put like the ice cream and the candy. don't go to the candy man, don't go to the ice cream man because he'll pull you in his van. Well, what he does is he has candies. He's like, Tootsie Pops, da da da, candies, ice cream, fudge pops. And he lures the children out and then he captures them in his little cage. Now, here we go. Where was I at, folks? Here we go. The toy maker takes Caraticus and Truly to a grotto, a tunnel, a cave system beneath the castle where the townspeople have been hiding their children. Underneath the castle, Hushabye Mountain. Reprise. Oh, this is when he starts singing to the little children. And Caraticus consorts a scheme to free the people from the tyranny of the Bomburst. He wants to free the children who have been trapped in their environment underneath the castle because they can't come out or they will be killed. Now, here we go. The next day, which is Baron's birthday, he sings Choochie Face. This is crazy. You need to know that the Antichrist, okay, hates women. All right? Before anybody throws anything about Donald Trump, please be patient. I don't know how you guys didn't see that awkward mess the other day when they were like trying to kiss on camera in front of everybody the other day, and he had like he didn't want to kiss her, and she had like they want to kiss each. You see that a lot. Not to mention, look at Donald Trump, and then look at what he's with, whether she's a he or not. Okay, it is what it is. And also all the allegations of all the stuff going on with Trump, that's getting denied and pushed under tables, all that stuff. It is what it is. Dude's a millionaire. He's got pictures of him with multiple women who are known for doing some scandalous stuff. Okay? Before he was with the woman he's in with right now. Now, when he's singing this song to her, do you know what he tries to do to her? The toy maker sneaks Caraticus and Truly into the castle disguised as dolls and sing. And dance. At Caraticus' signal, the Vulgarian. Wait, where's the part at? Oh, yeah. During the song, he's trying to kill his wife. So, like, they're singing, they're trying to be all happy in the song, but every time his wife turns away, he's trying to, like, smack her with something or trying to cause something to fall on her or causing her to drop in a trap. And then there's this one point where he gets the grandpa to accidentally launches her up in the sky, and he says, "Don't worry, I'll get you down." And dude pulls out a shotgun and starts shooting at his wife, trying to get her to come down from the sky. But he pretends to love her when she's looking at him. Okay? Now, if you haven't seen that part of the movie, it's crazy to me. Here's this, okay? The next day was Baron's birthday, and he's trying to kill his wife. So this is when Truly and Dick Van Dyke, Caraticus, are trying to come up with a plan to go into the castle and free the people and take over the castle and call out the king for all his wickedness. So here's their plan. The toy maker makes jack-in-the-boxes, toys. And what he does with those toys is he puts Caraticus and Truly inside of the boxes and dresses them like jack-in-the-boxes so they come out like this. Because the king loves collecting things, all kinds of things, cars, toys, old artifacts we'll see, all kinds of things he collects. Have you guys ever seen his penthouse, Donald Trump's penthouse suites, and the things that he collects that are very hard to find anywhere in the world? Well, here's this. At Caraticus' signal, the Vulgarian children swarm the banquet hall, overcome the Baron's guest, and capture the Baron, the Baroness, and the child catcher. The Vulgarian adults storm the castle while Caraticus, Truly, and the toy maker free Jemima and Jeremy. After that, they join the fight against the Baron's soldiers. Chitty comes to save them, and Grandpa is rescued. With the battle won, the Potts family and Truly bid farewell to Vulgaria and fly back home to England. They didn't drive because you can't drive over an ocean. They could have took their boat, flying faster. Okay? So, ultimately what happens is Caraticus and Truly get married and everything's wonderful and they live happily ever after. Okay? So you're like, well, I didn't see much in that. Just wait. Now we're going to decode. This is nuts. I can't wait. All right. Let's go. All right. So I'm going to clear this page out so you guys see some things exiting the top of your screen so you feel more comfortable. Let's look at where it was filmed. Okay. Vulgaria is a fictional European country in a story that Caraticus Potts is telling his children and lady friend truly scrumptious. Is telling his children and lady friend truly scrumptious. It is ruled by the wicked Baron Bomburst and Baroness. They rule in a huge castle. The castle they used for the film was the Neuschwanstein. I have no idea how to say that, which is located actually in Bavaria, Germany. Before I go any further, people that's been following my Facebook page, anybody remember what happened to Beyond the Veil at the Bavarian Inn in Michigan or Ohio or wherever it was? Let's see who's really been following along on my page. What happened to me, Beyond the Veil, and my family and a lovely two lovely couples, okay, at the Bavarian Inn, which was the only pool around with a blizzard in the area. There was no river, there was nothing. There was the only place we could go to. What happened to us there? Anybody remember? Amy's laughing. What happened to me at the Bavarian Inn here in the United States, not Bavaria, Germany? Well, I'm surprised Miss Karen don't know this. I was almost arrested. Actually, me, my wife, a couple I baptized, and then another couple that they wouldn't let me baptize after they saw me baptizing one couple going on to another couple. I got kicked out of that hotel after the woman spent like $200 some for our family to go in there and decode and to also baptize and wake people up in there. It was incredible. I got kicked out of the Bavarian Inn and police escorted out. No joke, like all the way out for baptizing couples inside of the Bavarian Inn. So I have some things against Bavaria. Not to mention what Bavaria truly is. We're going to get into some crazy stuff. But just know that that castle from that movie is in a real place, and it's located in Bavaria, Germany. Let's look into that a little bit, folks, because this is where it gets crazy. I think this is Bavaria. Yes, Bavaria. Okay. Now, Bavaria is over there where I was telling you guys about Germany, but we also, let me show you a better picture. See this? It actually expanded all this area out here was considered Bavaria by 1900. Okay. And maps have changed and stuff since then, expansions and sinking. But by the 19th century, all of this was considered Bavaria. Okay. That's important with the things we've been covering lately about the Nordics, Ireland, Iceland, the head of the dragon, all of those areas down, up in that area up there, and what that truly meant for the Hyperboreans that come out of the center of the earth, or the movie Atlantis, where they go into the heart of the earth in Iceland up there. And we also have we have the Vikings that came in and invaded. We have the Spaniards that came in and invaded and moved everything from there. And then we have Adolf Hitler and his obsession with the Arctic Circle and Norway and Iceland and Arctic in general, where he went to go into the heart of the earth to get certain things like the Vril, okay, and the ultimate power source, okay, the blue spark, which is, we've talked about kind of a lot here in the past. That all took place in that same area over there. Hitler got his perfect race from there. Rh negative originates from that area. Blonde hair, blue eye dates back older than any other genetic of all. Why is that? Well, you got to remember, Satan was brought forth in darkness. What happens when you're brought forth in darkness? And what happens if you're when you come into like a cave system and things like that, and you're underground, where you're not exposed to melanin. Melanin is what causes a skin pigment, such as any color you got. Hair, your eyes, all of those things. Your eyes got your brown in it and things like that. It's got melanin pulled into it. Your skin, all that stuff, melanin poured in it, meaning you're brought forth in the light. Okay. Then there's the ones that are the cave dwellers, not getting any light. And by the way, before anybody gets offended, we all must be born again for this reason. We're all mutts. We are all mixed with the enemy. This is why he says, hey, every one of you must be born again in my blood and my family, because we're at a time where the tares are growing with the wheats. Okay. And you got to get that out of your system. This is why that came in about we're all to be called born again. There's no longer Jew nor Gentile, no longer any bloodlines. What it is we have this. We are all to be born again. Cain had a chance to repent in the beginning. 2 lines were told they could repent and change. Pharaoh could have repented. Okay. So, had to bring that up because it's very important when we're about to get into Donald Trump, learning where Bavaria and where Iceland and Norway and Germany, all those areas out there, and how they tie into the Hyperboreans and the inner Earth entrances. Okay. So, Bavaria is where this was filmed, and what was filmed there was, let's see if I got the castle. Well, actually, let's look into something else. Okay. Let's tie something else in here. Okay. Bavaria is where the Illuminati group started. This should be pretty nuts for you guys. Bavaria is where the Illuminati headquarters began. It's where it was founded. This is nuts. So, where this castle was filmed at is where the Illuminati started in general, that area. And what's crazy is this. Do you guys know when 1776 came in America? Well, that's when the Freemasons and the Illuminati became free and accepted here in the United States. It's nothing about your freedom. Have you noticed you're not free? You're a slave to the man. Okay? Who is free in America is the freemen, the free and accepted men, Illuminati and Freemasons. Okay? Well, the Illuminati and the Freemasons in 1776 became real over here in America, but guess what? That the exact same time it happened over there, this happened. This should open your eyes a little bit. The Bavarian Illuminati group was a movement of Republican free thought and is probably the most prominent group associated with the name Illuminati. It was founded in 1776 by Adam Weishaupt, professor of canon law and Ingo whatever, and former Jesuit. Look at what he wanted to do. He wanted to replace Christianity with a religion of reason, and the members of a society called themselves perfectibilists. The society was carefully structured and divided into 3 main classes. Weishaupt's recruitment efforts spread across the cities of Bavaria, and he also made connections with a number of Masonic lodges, where his group often managed to gain prominent position. The movement over time acquired a rigorously complex constitution and internal communication system conducted in a cipher. And as zenith, the Bavarian Illuminati operated in a very large area extending from Italy to Denmark and from Warsaw to Paris. The movement was ultimately banned, and Weishaupt was stripped of his professorship and whatever. Okay. Now, there's that. Okay. I found it weird that the Illuminati started in 1776 in Bavaria, and at the same time, the Illuminati was accepted over here in America in 1776. But do you know what else started around that same time? Well, here we go. Let's go down some rabbit holes. Let's look at the Illuminati in general. Let's take Bavaria out and see if it'll still pop right back up. The Illuminati is a name given to several groups, both real and fictitious. Historically, the name usually refers to the Bavarian Illuminati, an Enlightenment era secret society founded on 1st of May 1776 in Bavaria, today part of Germany. The society's stated goals were to oppose superstition, obscurantism, religious influence over public life, and abuses of state power. The order of day, they wrote in the general statutes, is to put an end to the machinations of the purveyors of injustice, to control them without dominating them. The Illuminati, along with Freemasonry. Get out. If you're in, you're under a spell. And other secret societies were outlawed through edict by Charles with the encouragement of the Catholic Church in 1784, 85, 87, and 1790. Remember, they are trying to push a different religion outside of Christianity. Now, I wanted to bring this up. and subsequent use. Oh, check this out. It attracted literally, man. You remember our study about Johns lately? Well, why has it always got this? There's a John Wolfgang von, and then there's a John Gottfried Herder, who are the reigning dukes of this place. Okay, so they bring up these two people joining as well. But we have this part down here that's a big deal. This is on the back of your dollar bill. That literally means New Order Seclorum. That's New World Order. And it's on the back of your dollar. Everybody's like, oh, it's time for the New World Order. It's going to be a New World Order. It's been a New World Order since the New World came to order. We are the New World that was established in 1492 when Christ of the Columbia, okay, sailed the ocean blue and came over here after the Great Reset and established a lot of bad. Okay? The New World Order started then. Whew. Now, in subsequent use, Illuminati has been used when referring to various organizations, I don't even think they spelled it right, which are alleged to be continuation of the original Bavarian Illuminati, though these links have not been substantiated. These organizations have often been accused of conspiracy to control world affairs by masterminding events and planting agents in governments and corporations in order to gain political power, influence, and establish New World Order. Central to some of the more widely known and elaborate conspiracy theories, the Illuminati are depicted as lurking in the shadows and pulling the strings and levers of power. Now, there's that. Okay, let's move on forward. All of this, once again, I wanted to point out that this whole bad part of this was filmed in Bulgaria. Bulgaria, they call it Vulgaria. Okay. But you need to know this too. Bulgaria is also claimed into Bohemia. They took claim together at one point in this time. Okay. Bohemia. Now I'm not talking about Bohemian Grove yet. This is still over there, guys. So we have Bavaria move over into the United States with the Illuminati group. Then we have the Bohemian Grove established in California, which, like I said, is the true promised land. Okay? Here's some nuts for you. Okay? Let's read this. Bohemia is the westernmost and largest historical region of the Czech Republic. Bohemia can also refer to a wider area consisting of the historical lands of the Bohemian crown ruled by the Bohemian kings, including Moravia and whatever, in which case the smaller region is referred to as the Bohemia proper. Two different territories, one's bigger than the other, okay, but all considered Bohemia, okay? But I want to show you this. Bohemia had an area of this much, and today is home to about 6.9 million of the Czech Republic's 10.9 million inhabitants. Bohemia was bordered in the south by Upper and Lower Australia, in the west by Bavaria and in Germany, and in the north by the Saxon and Lusatia. Okay, in the northwest, it's telling all the places around there. Bohemia's borders were most likely marked by mountain ranges. Check out the names of these: Bohemian Forest, Ogre, Or Mountain, and Giant Mountains. The Bohemian Moravian border roughly flows through this. Now, why am I bringing up Bohemia? And why was I bringing up Bavaria? Well, because both of those are tied into the biggest Illuminati fraternization that's in the United States right now, tied into every political leader and every president that has been elected in the United States, and also astronauts and other science leaders in the world, deceivers all over, meet at the Bohemian Grove to do all kinds of wickedness. Let's see some things. Watch this. And this is going to get right into Chitty Chitty-Bang Bang. Just wait. I want to show you this. So this is in the Bohemian Grove. The Bohemian Grove is a restricted campground it's in California, founded in 1878. it belongs to a private gentleman's club known as the Bohemian Club. In mid-January each year, the Bohemian Grove hosts a more than 2-week encampment of some of the most prominent men in the world, such as who you see here, Ronald Reagan, Richard Nixon, etc. Okay? All meeting at this place where they have made it legal to pee on the redwood trees. In public, pretty nuts. It's just what they do. They also do sacrifices. Okay. One of the truthers who was a truther, and now I believe he has been confiscated and is used as a what's it called? Fake. He's a fake now. Okay. Was Alex Jones, who went in and he claimed that there was a ritual sacrifice that took place that was recorded on camera. It's honestly one of the most terrifying videos I've seen, where you can see lightning strike in the middle of all of them and stuff like that. You hear a girl screaming at the top of her lungs, and you hear this crazy voice saying, "You fools, you fools," all of those things. Okay. And it caused a big uproar when that video got out about what was taking place in the Bohemian Grove and the sacrifices that were supposedly taking place at the Bohemian Grove with all of our leaders that stand underneath the Ishtar Isis owl and do their sacrifices. Okay, controlled op. Yeah, I couldn't think about it. Thank you so much. So there's that, the Bohemian Grove, which so many people have broke down the Bohemian Grove so much that I probably don't have to get into that too much more with you. But yeah, that's a real place. And once again, that's established because Bavaria and Bohemia has indeed transplanted, just like the Nazi party from Germany and Hitler and all of those has also transplanted over here after they made their destruction over there. Okay, so here's this. Let's go on a little further. Now let's look back at this. I want you to look at some things over here. And I need you to think, okay, they call him the evildoer. Evildoer of iniquity. Lord, Lord, did I not do many wonderful things in your name? Like get in front of people and say the word God sometimes, and say the word Christian sometimes. Didn't I do many good things? Didn't I donate a couple of 100,000 of my trillions and billions of stashes of funds everywhere? Didn't I donate a little bit of money to people? Didn't I run for president? Didn't I do many things? Away from me, you evildoer of iniquity. I never knew you. Now, watch this. Let's look at his names, because we know that Donald Trump goes by John Barron, okay? Also goes by John Titter, the time traveler. He also goes by his real name, Donald John Trump, okay? Fun fact, the word Barron means this. Crazy to me. The word Barron means this. Well, I got the wrong one. I'm going to go back to that because I thought it was crazy. Baron means, where are we at? Okay, a title of nobility, ranking below a viscount, like Duke, all of that stuff. Where is the, okay, yeah, this is what I'll show you. Check this out. Would you believe who was the first person to be named Baron? Baron is a title. Baron means lord, ruler, okay? High rank, okay? Baron is a title that was first created and first given to a man named John. And then we have champ. It's always something that's like prideful, like the word Donald, which means ruler of the world, or the word Don, that means Lord / Bell. Okay. Then we have the word Baron, which means, oh, he's a lord, he's a ruler. Okay. Do you know what the word Paul means? Paul means small, humble. Christ said, he who humbles himself will be the greatest in the kingdom. And yet Mago wants to be the greatest in this kingdom. So much, in fact, that he wants to name him and his children Lord and King and ruler of the world, and be rich as all get out and collect all kinds of things. And we're going to get into it even more. Okay. So I think it's weird that the first time Baron was ever used was on a man named John also. Okay. But watch this. Let's look at this page. Right here. All right. So we have the Baron, which we just broke down. He also, because he wants to be so prideful. He also goes by excellency. Or his occupation, he's the ruler, but he's also a pirate. His powers and skills are wealth and political authority. His hobbies are collecting toys and mechanical objects, things of the past. Okay. Also, there's this. Here's his crimes: abuse of power, enslavement. We talked about that. The trapping of the children, the trapping of the Nazi party with Hitler as well, the building of the walls, the building of the freedom cities, the building of the camps and enslaving the masses, the abuse of power, enslavement. We talked about the conspiracy. Attempted murder included child murder. Maybe we ain't seen that yet. Unlawful imprisonment, theft, and mass child abduction, which we're going to get into too. What type of villain is he? He's a greedy tyrant. Okay, is this guy Bomburst with his also blonde hair and blue eyes. Okay, so there's that. Move on a little bit further. Okay, I have to come back to this one because this one's going to tie in with something we're going to get to in just a little bit. This is where we're going to break down Baron even more. So I need to make sure I say that. So let's go a little further. Let's look at the castle in which this was filmed at. This is the castle. They did change the background. If you see the movie, you see this, you see a completely different scenery. For example, when they're out on the back out here, it's nothing but water all out there because she fell in the water. When he shot her down with a shotgun, she fell into the water right by the seashore. Do you see a seashore around this? Absolutely not. Okay. So they changed the background stuff, but they actually used this building. Now, for those of you who've been following along, anybody want to tell me when they believe that this type of structures truly existed? What empire truly this stuff existed? With the spires and the copper tops and the mercury balls and the ether harnessers, things like that we've talked about. Let's see if this is... Anybody want to tell me? Well, this is a Tartarian castle. Okay. What I mean by Tartaria is during the reign of the Millennial Kingdom, when they could actually build things like this. And we're going to get into the construction and reconstruction of this as well. Okay. Tartaria, good. So you see the copper tops, copper pieces, mercury balls, fires, all this stuff, including, just a lot of stuff we've covered with a lot of stuff. You see it all in it. We don't even build stuff like this anymore. Okay. But this is where it was filmed at here. And also in the movie, they brought back some other Tartarian stuff. See, you don't see Zeppelins anymore at all. Okay. We have actually over here at our Coast Guard base in North Carolina, they have 2 blimps, but they're very small blimps and they call their weather balloon things. But you don't see Zeppelins anymore. And yet they emerged for a while like crazy. And not just that, they were very luxurious, way better than the things we're flying in today. Okay. So I want to show you something. They made their own Zeppelin for this movie called Chitty Chitty-Bang that was built for the 1968 Chitty Chitty Bang film. And it was intended to represent the airship of Baron Bomburst. Does anybody want to tell me what animal with wings was the animal seen on so many of the Tartarian castles and kingdoms during that time? It starts with a G. Anybody want to tell me? I just love learning from you guys too. What is the creature that was on so many of the flags? Boom! Ain't buying it, you're on fire. Okay? The griffin. Well, guys, watch this. Would you believe this if I told you that the one used and created for this movie that took place in the the movie itself was like based off of 1900. You want to see what was on the side of the airship from the movie? What's the griffin? Okay, watch. It's taking forever to load, so I'll just read it to you. Watch this, guys. The airship, which was purple and black. Okay, the purple, the confusion, all of that stuff. Check this out. The ends of the airship envelope were colored with bands of the Bulgarian tricolor, black and purple and white. The flanks were adorned with a large black griffin, which was the arms of Vulgaria. So on the side of this Chitty Chitty-Bang Bang airship, we also have the Griffin of Tartaria. So not only do we have a Tartarian kingdom here, with a griffin flag also you see here, but we also have the Griffin of Tartaria on the airship during this time as well. Strange, right? Just wanted to point that out. And this is the colors that were used for the thing, the purple and the black with the griffin, okay, and the insignia. Thought that was very strange, so they want to put all that right in your face. Okay, let's look on a little further. No, this is going to get a little crazy here in a little bit. We ain't nowhere near done. Zeppelin raids, okay? Zeppelins were used a lot during the World Wars. Well, the first ones, okay? Until all of a sudden, they were all taken off the map. And then you have this emergence of different planes and things like that coming in, so they can start charging you more and start doing more things like that, and telling you that there's this huge fuel tank on these planes and that your price is like it is because they're having to put so much fuel in those planes. And yet if you look at the schematics for those planes and things like that, you see no space for enough fuel like they say. Okay, that is a rabbit hole within itself if you would like to dive down the fuel lie of the airplanes that are being taken all over the place today. They're making cake with. Okay, this is why they disappeared. See, we get the junk now. Like the phones we got now, they were already developed years ago. We're getting them in pieces because they got to make as much money off of everything that they got. Everything that we get now has already been given out at some, to the elites and stuff like that way back. We get the scraps of stuff that's already been created. Like that. You really think they're just now coming out iPhone this, iPhone that? No, man, they've had that plan since the beginning. They stretch it out so you'll buy a new one and upgrade and get a different one and da. That's why they get rid of Nikola Tesla and the Tesla development of free energy and things like that. That is why they get rid of anybody that brings up cars that don't run off gas but run off water. They want to make sure you're paying for gas. They make sure they cut anything that's going to help the people out and make sure they bring in the stuff that's going to cost a lot of money. See, these Zeppelins, let's read some about it. Before the 20th century, civilians in Britain had been largely unaffected by war. Previous overseas wars rarely touched British shores, but the First World War was a change to all that. Historians have described it as a total war, a global war which involved both civilians and armed services on a massive scale. Count von Zeppelin, a retired German army officer, flew his first airship in 1900. They were lighter than air, filled with hydrogen, with a steel framework. When the war started in 1914, the German air armed forces had several Zeppelins, each capable of traveling about 85 miles per hour and carrying up to 2 tons of bombs. With military deadlock on the Western Front, they decided to use them against the towns and cities in Britain. The first raid was on this place, okay? I had this thing down here that was talking about the Zeppelins and like how luxurious they were for people to actually ride in and things like that, but I'm not going to get into this. We have a few other things to get into, but there's that, and that's how that was brought into that as well. Old world technology in our face and then done away with. Now we're going to get into some weird stuff. This is going to be crazy. So, Baron. Now I'm back to this page I wanted to say for you guys. Let's look at Baron in Great Britain. And England, the Norman kings, remember this word, Norman kings of Great Britain, assembled advisory councils of the more powerful barons. As these councils evolved into parliaments, larger numbers of barons, as well as representatives of the church, burgesses, and knights of the shires were summoned to attend meetings. The early baron held his lands or barony of the king. If the lands passed from his family, they carried away the rank and the privileges of the rank. Such barons were termed barons by tenure. After the concept of peerage, these titled individuals who shared the responsibility of government began to develop. Those feudal barons by tenure, I don't even know what that word means, who have received writs summoning from the early parliaments were considered to be ipso facto peers, barons by writ, by right. Okay. I don't even know. This ain't even the part I wanted to read, but okay, here we go. I wanted to bring up that they talk about these as the Norman kings. It had me thinking about something that I had done a while back. I need to prove to you guys something right now. The whole point of this decode. There is a whole world beneath your feet right now. If you're living in New York City, you have a whole tunnel system underneath you. If you're living in Las Vegas, you have a whole tunnel system underneath you. If you're living in Hollywood, you have a whole tunnel system underneath you. If you live in Seattle, Washington, you have a whole world underneath you. And in that world, what you have underneath there is a whole bunch of people that are hiding, a whole bunch of people in hiding. One thing, my old friend Josh, we were whatever. When I was in Vegas with him, we were able to go around, see things and all that stuff. And he was able to share with me a lot of things that he had experienced over there. And one of those was what was going on in the underworld, was what is considered there the under part of Vegas. How they would go and they try and help feed the people under there and things like that. But people would be in hiding under there. There'd be whole communities living underneath the streets of Vegas. Same things happening in New York, hiding under there. And then they're finding out this. There's tunnel systems underneath Vegas and like Vegas, Hollywood area, and New York, where these tunnel systems come up inside of hotels. They come up inside of buildings. Like their come up point is inside the middles of these buildings. They actually tracked and this crazy. Let me see if I don't want to get off sidetrack on YouTube. This one person had tracked this system inside of a hotel where you go behind a mirror that was in the room. And it's this whole tunnel system, even in the walls, for when people want to sneak in there, take your kids, pull them in the mirrors and bring them in the walls and under the floor. I mean, and down chutes and stuff like that. That exists. Have you not seen the cameras behind the mirrors inside of hotels and stuff like that? That exists. Okay. Trap doors and stuff like that exist too. Inside of hotels and things like that in these big cities, they have access to getting underneath these big towers because just as high up as it is just as deep most of the time. And they can go snatch whoever it is in that room, bring them right down underneath there and do what they want to do with them. Okay. That's how people go missing all the time. They get snatched quick and in a trap door, in trap slides and underneath the ground. It is what it is. I hate it. I can't remember the guy's name. If I find it, I'll try and post it on my Facebook page. It was very crazy. But anyway, here's this. I brought that up because of this. Do you know who else has towers in every one of those places I was mentioning? Anybody? Well, let's show you some stuff. Donald Trump's tower is not only in New York City. I've been trying to tell people this all the time. I hope this hurry ups and loads. This is why I got kicked out earlier. My internet here in the boondocks in this barn is horrible. Letting this load up. While it's loading, let's see. No, neither one are. I'll start with this one. For example, Hollywood Drive in Florida has the Trump Hollywood condo tower here. You guys know that this is a Trump tower that's down there even in Florida. That's one of many. Well, let's look at some other ones. Exit that out and let's see. Come on, load up, please. All right, here, yes. Let's look at this. So here's the golden. See, in Sin City, Las Vegas, he has the golden Trump Tower. Okay. But what's crazy about this is the stories I heard from Josh about what happens here. This place here is one of the biggest sex trafficking buildings in Vegas, right here. Bigger the casinos, bigger than all the places that you've seen. Trump Tower and all his elites. This is the biggest sex trafficking mosh pit in Vegas. Trump Tower, the Golden Tower of Nimrod. And not just that, okay? We also have this one in New York City. I hate this building. Do you know why? Everybody loves this man so much, but they're not even paying attention. Where in the Bible does it say, build a tower, name it after yourself, make it all black, make it 666 feet tall, and make sure you put your penthouse suite right up here on the 66th floor? And also make sure that you have these wicked cubes of Saturn matrix here that are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 by 6 by 6 upside down inverted triangle just underneath your 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 deadly sins rising 666 feet tall. And yet people think it's just a tower. This tower here is wicked. Okay? I want to say this. What makes you think his golden tower is any different than his black tower? Let's go on a little further. How about this tower? This looks a lot like the depictions of the Tower of Babel. This is the Trump Tower in Chicago. Some people didn't even know there was a Trump Tower in Chicago. This is the Trump International Hotel and Tower in Chicago. How about this one? That literally looks like, I don't want to say it, perverted. Okay? Phallus and the female parts are everywhere in the occultism. Okay? This is another Trump Ocean Club in Panama City. Now, you can do the math there if you want to about what probably happens in this open female building of the Trump Ocean Club in Panama City. Once again, tell me, what would be the difference in this one, this one, this one, and this one? Oh, that's not it. Let's keep going. How about this one? You ever seen this Tower of Nimrod Babel? I think I still have the griffin up there. I'm sorry about that. Just noticed that. Anyway, what about this Tower of Babel? Here's another Trump Tower. Okay? This one is in Istanbul. Did you know that there's a Trump Tower in Istanbul? Well, now you know there's a Trump Tower in Istanbul. What makes this tower different than this one, and this one, and this one, and this one? Let's go a little further. How about this Trump Tower? You ever seen this Trump Tower? There's another Trump Tower for you. This one's in Toronto. You know who was a builder of cities? Cain. Word for word in your Bible. Cain built the first city, Enoch. And from there, he became Tubal Cain, the master builder of Freemasonry, who built cities in stone masonry. I want to say this. What other president in history has towers in every single continent in the world? Zero. What other president has towers in every continent in the world and names them proudly after himself? Trump Towers. Zero. Zero. Okay. Now, let's go on a little further, because that black Tower of Babel in New York is not the only black tower of Donald Trump. This is all, and his are always the tallest in the cities. That's why he had, watch this. Here's this one. This is the all black one. This one here is another view of the Las Vegas Hotel. This is another one in the sunny Isles Beach in, where is this one? Miami. This one is another one that's in New York City. Also a Trump Tower. Most people don't even know there's multiple Trump Towers in New York alone. But then we have this crazy thing here. This one is huge to me. Like, look at this thing. This one is in Manila, I guess, wherever this is, the Philippines. Donald Trump has a Trump Tower there as well. So like I said, what makes this tower different than this one, and 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 that one? Well, I want to say this, guys. Let's look at something even more. Okay. Under New York City, there has been the synagogue of Satan that was discovered here. The ones that claim to be Jews but are not. The ones that are over here teaming up and trying to cause havoc in the city, New York, in the caves underneath. They were caught in the tunnel systems doing their stuff. Now let's look at somewhere else. Underneath Las Vegas. I hate this internet today. I'm so sorry, guys. Here's this, Las Vegas. Okay. Las Vegas also has a whole underground tunnel that's supposedly closed off, but this is a whole article about even that and the flash flooding that goes on in the underground city in Las Vegas. For hundreds of people, these tunnels are home. These are Americans forgotten, those left behind in a country with an ever-growing gap between the haves and have-nots. So these are a lot like those little children that were starving to death under that castle, under that kingdom, under those towers, right? That's what you got here in Las Vegas. A bunch of people that are sad, beaten, and broke down. Okay? But then we also have this. Let's look at Los Angeles, California. You want to talk about all the cave systems underneath there? Lots and lots of city underneath here. Now, why do I bring that up? Because of this. These towers here, okay, are strategically placed for a reason. People think that they're just now coming up with the tunnel system like Elon Musk with his little cave system of having a place to drive from one side of the state to another, but they don't even know this. There is literally a tunnel that goes from Central America underneath the ocean into South America that has been discovered, a straight shot that was created a long time ago. Those exist all over the place. The elites know about them and you don't. They can travel around back and forth from city to city without you even knowing about it underground. They're just now telling you about this. They're just now getting Elon Musk involved with it. They're just now, just like the cell phone thing I was telling you about earlier, just like the technology we get the remnants of, they're just now telling you about this. You need to know this. If there's human trafficking going on, whether it's children, adults, or whatever, underground is how they're doing it. They're taking them, pulling them underground, and going forth with whatever they do. Okay? Now, who was the original digger of the tunnels? Who was called to be a vagabond in the earth? Anybody want to tell me who's responsible for all the cave systems of old? Anybody? Well, I'm gonna let you guys. Cain. Okay? Cain was the cave dweller. Matter of fact, Neanderthals that look like beasts, not even like people, they are descendants of Cain, guys. I don't know how you don't put that together. Okay. And they probably had hair, is why they had that disproportionate stuff. They were probably hairy, a lot hairy. Okay. You probably can't even tell that nowadays. The cave dwellers that you see in the pictures, the Neanderthals that were making the wheels and creating these weird things in their cave systems, making things, creating things, designing things, introducing secrets from the caves. Like who? Who's the secret teller in the Islam world? Muhammad, the cave dweller, who went in the cave to get all the secrets and all the good stuff. Okay? Cain created the city above ground, and this is why the pyramids and things like that all go in the earth. Okay? Same thing. Traveling underneath. Same thing going on there. Okay, so I wanted to bring, like I said, this is my whole point of this. I wanted to bring up something nuts that I did a while back. Okay, how many of you guys have seen Spider-Man about Norman Osborn? Okay, hope you guys have seen that. Watch this. A while back, I did this crazy decode over on Facebook. Some people, maybe Miss Karen and Miss Kelly, are probably the only two here that have seen this one. But this was my Donald Trump, Norman Osborn, Spider-Man 2 decode that I did back in, I have no idea. This was when I was on my road trip baptizing people. Some people haven't watched this. I encourage you to watch the whole thing. We're not going to watch all 42 minutes. I'm going to put it in fast forward for you a little bit. Let's go. I'm going to sound and look funny here, but look, I get zealous when I talk. I get excited when I talk. I get over dramatic when I talk because I love this stuff. Do you know what those people yesterday, those hateful people over there on that other channel were saying? That I'm on crack, that I'm on meth, that I'm doing all these things that's making me crazy. I love the word of God and I love truth. Watch this. This decode here was nuts. I want to show you guys some. All right, I'm gonna fast forward for you guys. Now, what happened here was Braden and me. We go from decoding movies to decoding video games. Okay, and he was playing this game while I'm trying to find my spot. He was playing this game, and I was looking. I was like, "Oh, this looks really familiar for New York." So he gets on top of the Oscorp building. Okay, and when he's on top of the Oscorp building, I'm like, "Son, stay right there for a second." And I pulled out my tablet and I pulled up Google Earth. And while he was on top of the Oscorp building, I was like, "Look over there and see what building's beside you." And he looked over there beside him, and it was this building that I knew I'd seen before. And I look on Google Earth, and I was like, "I'm wondering." I went to where Trump Tower was. Trump Tower is Oscorp Tower. Oscorp Tower. Sitting exactly where it sits. I'm going to prove it to you. But before that, I want to show you some other stuff that's in plain sight with Spider-Man. That kind of cool stuff. Just hold on. This is nuts. Man. Oh, Ashley Garrison's up here. Hello, hello. I ain't seen you in a while. Can you guys hear the video? Can y'all hear this video? You can't hear this video. Oh shoot. Sorry. All right. So what I was doing here is showing you guys this is inside of Peter Parker's room. Peter Parker. This is inside of Peter Parker's room. This is his bookshelf, guys. That was hold on one sec. Hold on one sec. So here we go. Hold on. This book right here, that was a flat earth book. This is called Demonic Drug. This is the devil's breath and how it changed medical. Okay? Is what this book says on Peter Parker's book. Okay? Flying spiders, a myth, all of those things. Next thing you know, I start looking at some other things. There's a flat earth book. All right, so you have the Earth Journey, which is the flat Earth here. You have a flat Earth book about flat Earth biblical cosmology. Up here, you have the ethereal plane of as above, so below, the magnetic field of the as above, so below book. This book says math lies. This is Raven's Hunt, which we kind of broke down in this video if you want to go back and watch. I was looking at all these crazy books, these demonic books that are all in his bookshelf on this game. Math as easy. Well, this is the math lies, but not as easy as pie. Math lies is the full title of this book. But all these books in this shelf were kind of nuts when I went through it. But I want to show you something else I discovered. Okay. As I was going through the game and looking at different places, I started going to Oscorp. I was like, "Son, take me to Oscorp. You can go in Oscorp and actually look at the things happening in there." So while we were looking around inside of Trump Tower, Oscorp Tower, hold on, I gotta pull it up. Once we get in Oscorp, you're gonna see some things. Oh, check this out. In Peter Parker's room is this globe that has literally Tartaria on the map. Okay, that I pointed out to you guys as well. Okay, crazy. All right, then you have Lucifer the Light Bearer. All right. This is the feast book. Okay, we talked about Hollywood and how they have to sacrifice a victim for their fame and stuff like that. Peter Parker had to lose his uncle, but in this game, he lost his aunt. It was a different storyline. It's strange how the feast of the beast was a picture of him and his aunt who had to die while he got his powers. Remember, when his uncle died, that's what caused him to go into Spider-Man mode. Okay, the sacrifice. So there's that, but really, let's see here. I really got to get into this thing. That was the mark of the beast fighting Spider-Man, but just hold on. We got to get to the building part. It's just, whoo, the devil's trying me right now with this internet system, and I'll rebuke it right now in the name of Yeshua. Come on. Oh, that worked. All right, sweet. You see how that works? That was awesome. You can do it too. Okay. Now we're inside of Oscorp. Okay. So we have the bees. When you walk in Oscorp, you have the bees up here and the hexagons and all that stuff around here. What this is all about here in this level is they're making carpenter bees that look like carpenter bees, but they have cameras inside and they're remote controlled. And these carpenter bees are used to spy on the people. They talk about all of it right here and all their on their stuff, which we went through and looked at. On top of this, I looked at some other stuff. This whole building, what they're doing in here is mixing DNA and inserting other things. So let's see where this goes. That's the robotic bees controlled by her. Just hold on one sec. Here. They didn't think people will look at this stuff. So in this also, we have DNA sequences pulled up here. Would you believe they have reptile DNA, they have spider DNA, and then they have human DNA? And then the next thing that I see when I look over at the other screen is they have a splice where they take something out of one creature and put it in a human DNA strand right in front of people for them to see on this game. Watch this, guys. That's the bees, the BDRA or whatever. Now, they're even making artificial hearts and organs and body parts inside of this Oscorp tower. See, there's a heart underneath there. Making artificial organs, making artificial parts inside of the Trump Oscorp tower. It literally says artificial organ right there. Oh, yeah. If you guys had seen the fall of the House of Usher, everything that is presented there with that mixing of stuff and all that other stuff is what takes place also there, along with the artificial organs. There's the one person in there that makes the artificial heart, and you can hear, and it drives her crazy to a point where she ends up going nuts and dying. In that movie, it was a crazy decode. So there's that. But check this out. So I want to show you all the crazy stuff. Hold on. This is this is what I was talking about. They show where they pull out the DNA from one creature and put it into a human DNA strand. The Bible talks about the mixing of the iron and the clay. Okay. This is the splitting of the cells also that takes place, and the mixing of the also the two what is it called? Two placentas, twins born in the belly with two different placentas and stuff. They're studying all kinds of crazy stuff in this place. Okay, so there's that. And then all these places here are representations of the yin and the yang, Saturn worship, and everything else that we were talking about. I don't want to get too much off track though, because I want to get to the. I'm sorry, guys. This is really crazy stuff though. Just hold on one second. All right, I think it's right about here. I want to show you where I prove that Oscorp is where Trump Tower is. I just want my internet to work better right now. I just not like this usually. This ain't nothing but the enemy trying to stop me. Let me see here. Please work. I want to show these people something amazing. Please. All right, let me see. Please work. Oh, this might be a part of the thing where you're going to have to go watch this video yourself over on Facebook. What I would do right now for you guys, since you're live, you're going to get a treat that the other people will not get. Okay. So what I'll do for you guys right now is this. I will exit out of this. I'm going to come over here, and in this chat box, what I will do is post this link, and I want you to copy it and then paste it into your browser on the side. so that you have it pulled up for later, so that you can see the location of Oscorp being exactly where Trump Tower sits. Okay, so there's that link for you guys. I will display it so that maybe the people will see it and pause this at some point and take this down, all these crazy numbers and stuff, and it'll pull it up so they can watch this video that the devil's trying to stop me from showing you guys right now. Okay, I encourage you to please watch this video. Okay, so there's that. So let's move forward. The whole point of this video, I wanted to show you that Oscorp sits exactly where Trump Tower sits. Okay, and a lot of sketchy stuff is going on in there, right? Now, I bring this up too. Do you remember I told you guys to remember the Norman Kings earlier? Do you also remember? Well, let's read first. Okay, Oscorp, OS Corp, or you can say Oz, OZ Corp, also known as Oscorp Industry, is a fictional multi-billion-dollar multinational, meaning everywhere, meaning this tower is one of many multinational towers appearing in the American comic books published by Marvel Comics, predominantly in stories about Spider-Man. The company was founded by Norman Osborn, which is who you have here, otherwise known as the Green Goblin, and has appeared in numerous media adaptations. It first appeared in The Amazing Spider-Man number 37, published on March of 1966, and was created by Stan Lee and Steve Ditko. The corporation is based off the Oscorp Tower, the Oz Tower, the Trump Tower in New York, because it sits where the Trump Tower is. There's no denying it. I prove it to you in that video. It was created and run by CEO Norman Osborn. Norman studied chemistry and electrical engineering in college. He also took a number of courses in business administration. Norman's teacher, Professor Mendel Strom, formed the business partnership. Since Norman put up the bulk of the financing, they called their company Osborn Corporation, or Oscorp. Strom's early research was a chemical that would provide enhanced strength to its subjects. Nimrod became a mighty man at 21 years old. Please notice what your Bible says. Okay. He became a enhanced strength soldier at 21 years old and would eventually turn Osborn into the Green Goblin. Osborn wanted the formula for himself and discovered that Strom had been embezzling funds from Oscorp. Strom explained that he was merely borrowing, but Osborn turned him over to the police. After several years in prison, Strom was released and tried to kill Osborn for revenge using evil robots. He was stopped by the superhero Spider-Man and seemingly dead of a heart attack when he was nearly shot. So that's a little background on that, but I want to show you this. J. Allen's company, Allen Chemical, was merged with Normie Osborn's stocks from Oscorp, and the last remaining properties of Horizon Labs and its destruction, establishing a new name under Alchemax. Alchemy. It was later revealed that Norman Osborn was under the guise of Mason Banks, created the corporation in order to leave a strong empire for his grandson and establish an empire for the Osborn legacy. Their headquarters, Oscorp Tower, was the former headquarters of Oscorp. Okay, what does that matter? Well, by 2000, remember 66 was when this thing was presented, but now we've got the inverted. By 2099, Alchemex would eventually control most aspects of daily life in a possible future. Watch this, guys. Norman Osborn. This is where things get crazy. Okay. What color is the Green Goblin? Well, he is indeed emerald green, guys. Okay. What color is the Wizard of Oz? The Wizard of Oz shares the exact same color background. Also, he looks exactly like Donald Trump. No, he doesn't. Watch this. Come on, stop. It usually is not like this over here on my page. I don't know what's going on with it. But we have the same green color in Oz, the land of Oz, with the Wizard of Oz himself, who's really a sham with a bunch of technology and inventions happening back there. Okay, that was discovered. So watch this. Where are you at? Where are you at? I wanted to show you this. because it literally. Come on, come on, come on. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Man, where are you? There's this thing here where it says that he was injected by the Oz serum. Does anybody know how to search your screen? I remember I used to could do it on my old computer. I just forgot how to do it. Boom, boom, boom. Where are you at? Where are you at? Where are you at? Where are you at? If anybody sees it, shout. Please. Okay, yeah. Boom. Here we go. All right. Now remember, okay, that my whole point of proving the 1,000-year reign is happening is to prove that we are in a short, dark reign. We had the light reign. Now we're in a short, dark reign in the world. I also told you about the deceiver Loki, who isn't even in Marvel, like, well, later he is, but during any of the Spider-Man's original movies. Watch this, guys. Osborn has been part of Spider-Man's defining stories, most notably the night Gwen Stacy died and the Clone Saga. While his primary foe is Spider-Man, Osborn has often come into conflict with Iron Man, Captain America, and other superheroes of the Marvel Universe. Although Osborn sometimes works with other super villains such as Doctor Doom, Loki, and groups like the Sinister Six and the Dark Avengers. Each one of these are villains of the dark side. These relationships often collapse due to the desire of unbridled power. Here we go. Osborn's largest overarching story came during the line-wide Dark Reign and Siege. The Dark Reign and Siege comic book events, in which he served as the main antagonist during this time. He became the original iteration of the Iron Patriot in this story here. Still is not what I wanted to show you with the other part, though. I wanted to show you the Oz. It's got to be right up here. Anyway, what happened was he injected himself. They called the serum that he took to become the Goblin Oz formula. Literally Oz formula. Really want to find it so bad for you guys, but my eyes are just crossing right now from this screen being in my face so long. So I'm just going to skip it. You're going to have to just look for it yourself also sometimes. But yeah, so he was injected by Oz serum to become the Green Goblin of the Trump Osborn Tower. Okay, let's look on a little further about that Dark Reign thing that took place. Okay, during the Dark Reign is when they came into power. Would you look at the red sun, which is like the black sun? Okay, the red sun taking place back there and stuff like that. Also, which was another big topic of ours over many, many times. This was the Dark Reign that took place during a secret invasion. Dark Reign is a 2008 to 2009 comic book branding used by Marvel Comics. It deals with the aftermath of the Secret Invasion storyline, which resulted in a shift of power, a change in the Marvel Universe toward Norman Osborn. The title refers to Osborn's rise to national power and ramifications thereof. Joe Quesada, then editor-in-chief of Marvel Comics, stated the Dark Reign is not really an event, it's what's happening in the Marvel verse. He believes that the Dark Reign leads to an interesting place in the Marvel Universe. I think you'll be pulling back at the end of the Dark Reign, but you'll understand at the end of what we are trying to get to. Okay, so what this was an emergence of a different reign, a different anarchy coming into the world and taking power. Now, here's the plot. Do you remember the Thrall? Following the Skrull invasion of Earth during the Secret Invasion, Norman Osborn leverages his success in defeating the Skrulls to replace Tony Stark as director of S.H.I.E.L.D. Deadpool plays a large part in this, and he is supposed to send the information on how to kill the Skrull King, Evril Queen. And error occurs during the process, and the information goes to Osborn instead. Here's where it gets crazy. Osborn shoots Veronque in the head and becomes the director of S.H.I.E.L.D., which he replaces with Hammer. Osborn simultaneously forms an alliance called the Cabal. The Cabal. Okay. Anybody want to tell me about the cabal here in the United States and how its hands are in everything wicked going on right now? Kabbalah, they're the ones that are pulling everything and all the strings in the background. The cabal, speaking things, bringing things into existence. Well, look who was, look who formed the alliance called the Cabal. Osborn. To carry out an agenda and at times the Cabal's. However, Osborn's actions and his reputations influence a number of heroes and villains to attempt to resist Osborn's rule and remove him from power by force if necessary. So there's that. Man, I remembered what I was going to show you earlier with the Great Britain. Baron is allowed and given reign for execution, is what was on that page that I was trying to show you earlier. I have so much I try to present to you guys at once so you get the full picture. So guess I have to pull it up some other time. Anyway, let's keep on going with this. So that's the Cabal. And then we have the Cabal comic book series, which talks directly about the dark reign of the Cabal, which is indeed a secret society of villains and Antichrist appearing in American comic books published by Marvel Comics as a more villainous counterpart to the Illuminati. Yes, you got it. Even the Marvel Comics bring up the Illuminati and the Cabal. So maybe this is just a coincidence, but I want to make sure you understand, as more villainous counterpart to the Illuminati, the group was formed in the Dark Reign storyline very shortly after the Secret Invasion event. What's the Secret Invasion event? Project Paperclip. When we had the Vril Society invade America and join our astronauts parties, okay, and all of science over here were led by them. How are they getting their knowledge and things to do that what they want to? Well, because they are indeed, they got it out of the heart of the earth, the knowledge from the inner earth, the knowledge from Cain. Okay, so I thought that was nuts. But let's look at this. Here's where things get crazy. Let's put all this together, guys. You ready for this? Don means Lord. Donald means ruler of the world. Baron means Lord and ruler as well. Would you believe this, though? The word Norman means this: an inhabitant of Normandy is a Norman, like we were talking about earlier. Why does that matter? Remember I was telling you about Bavaria earlier at the beginning of the show? And Bohemia at the beginning of the show? And the Nordics and the Scandinavians and all of that stuff up there with the Vikings. Strange, we're right back to that, right? Watch this. Norman is a baby boy name of Germanic, Old English, French, and Scandinavian origin, meaning Northman or inhabitant of Normandy. This name famously dates back to the Viking era. If you're a history buff, you'll know Vikings were also known as Normans, the Norsemen, with lineage from both Europe and Scandinavia. Why am I bringing that up? And what does Norman, the inhabitant of Normandy, have to do with Donald Trump? Well, let's look at what Osborn means first before we get into it. Do you know what Osborn means? Osborn, this is crazy too. Would you believe that Osborn is also Nordic? Osborn, the name Osborn has multiple meanings. You ready for this? Osborn is a masculine name of Old Norse, again, that means bear god. In Norse mythology, bears were a symbol of bravery, and warriors would channel the bear's spirit. Channeling spirits, the Vril Society, before going into battle to become what? Invincible. The worm that shall not die. If you're putting this together, what you have here is you have Osborn, the Nordic, who took on the spirit of the bear to become invincible, a worm that shall not die from the Nordic race. Osborn can be spelled as Osborn, Osborn, and Osburn, and has been used as a given surname and middle name since when? The 16th century, right after what we were talking about earlier. Okay? Pretty nuts. Now, watch this, guys. You know why that's funny? Because of this. Do you know what Donald Trump claims that everybody was thrown off by? Anybody want to guess? Matter of fact, hold on. Let me see. I'm just going to let this page. Where does Donald Trump claim his heritage is from, ladies and gentlemen? Anybody want to tell me? Where does Donald Trump claim that his heritage is from? Well, I'll show you. Mm. Okay, here we go. On October 7th, 1885, Friedrich Trump, a 16-year-old German barber, bought a one-way ticket. This is this guy for America. Well, hold on. Let me see. Maybe you guys did answer me. Scotland. Close. Watch this, dude. Well, yeah, you can pretty much say it, but watch this. Bought a one-way ticket for America, escaping 3 years of compulsory German military service. He had been a sickly child, unsuited to hard labor, and feared the effects of the draft. It might have been illegal, but America didn't care about this law breaking at that time. Germans were seen as highly desirable migrants for America. Project Paperclip. And Trump was welcomed with open arms. Less than 2 weeks later, he arrived in New York, where he would eventually make a small fortune. More than a century later, his grandson, Donald John Trump, became the 45th president of Frederick's adopted home. And would you believe what they are claiming? Scottish and Scandinavia. Here we go. But for decades, Trump denied the German heritage altogether, instead claiming that his grandfather's roots lay further north in Scandinavia. Wow. So what I have here is you have Norman, which means of the Nordic over there. You have Osborne, which is another Nordic over there. You have Donald John Trump, ruler of the world, the last Trump of Babylon, who claims also a Scandinavian background. Strange. This is Frederick and Elizabeth Trump. Elizabeth Christ Trump. Strange. Okay, so there's that. I don't think it's any denying it, but I wanted to show you something about the bear and why it matters that Norman and Osborne means the bear god. You guys ever seen Brave? You know who Morduk is in the Bible, right? Morduk, you can say it a few different ways, okay? You know who that is, right? It's the same one as Mardu. Mardu, the bear from Brave. I'm going to read you guys a little story to close us out here, okay? This is pretty cool. Check this out. All right, so my kids liked this show when they were a kid, Brave. I've seen it 1,000 times, so I know this story, but I want to share it with you, okay? The Legend of Mordu. This is very wild, okay? Now, remember I've been telling everybody lately about the beasts, about how Cain was first marked on the forehead as a beast. This is why you read later, okay? When he was killed by Lamech in the field, he was mistaken for a beast with a horn coming out of his head, okay? Well, that wasn't the first time and the second time or the third time that he's turned into a beast. Nebuchadnezzar was turned into a beast for 7 years. Nimrod was turned to apes and elephants, him and his people were. Okay, so that's that situation alone. Well, Osiris and Ra and all of them had falcon heads. Anubis had dog head. Okay. Ishtar, Isis was the owl. Then you have the hawk and the owl when they were in love at one point. Then you have all kinds of the dragon and the sea serpent. You have multiple times where people are turned into things, beasts by God. Like I said, Nebuchadnezzar is a big story in itself. Now we're told to look for more people turning into a beast. Check this out though. This story's nuts to me. Miss Karen, did I say something wrong? I hope not. Anyway, let's go. Let's read this story in closing today. When Mordu was human. Now, background, okay? Mordu this bear is the oldest of the brothers. Okay. He is the first of that, but he's the dark side. He's the dark one. And the other one following was the good. Okay. Just like Satan. Satan was brought forth right underneath God, but he rebelled, and then the only begotten came in with the good. Okay. You have the darkness, and then you have the good brought in the world. You have Black Adam and Adam. That's why that's the thing. Okay. It is what it is. Now, check this out. When Mordu was a human, he likely once possessed a close familial bond with his father and 3 younger brothers. However, he was confident in his strength, but confused this for character and thus led to arrogance, pride, a trait that caused him to struggle with his loved ones. Like Mary, he let his pride control his actions and clashed with his family. But unlike her, he was willing to let hatred and desire get the better of him instead of realizing his mistakes and mending what was left of his broken family. His desire for power drove him to go far enough to start a violent war, start wars, rumors of wars, and then ultimately kill his own brothers in cold blood. Cain killed Abel. As a bear, Mordu's hatred and rage manifested through his actions and carnage, especially when he slaughtered the remaining family. However, after fighting his own men, his violent and dangerous nature would eventually consume what was left of his humanity, leaving his human mind and conscience buried deep within his mind and of his cursed form. As a result, Mordu was left as cruel and vicious and malevolent and destructive and bloodthirsty, the bringer of destruction, bloodthirsty, cannibalism, monster who was incapable of sapience. His violence was uncontrollable and prominent though even a younger teenager, a fall victim to his murderous intentions, and everyone in Scotland knew and feared him. When he was finally killed, the spirit of the eldest prince was finally released. Who's the prince of darkness? Who's the prince and power of the air? And apparently, learning from his tyrannical and oppressive mistakes and what his intensive lust for power had turned him into, thanked Merida with respect for releasing him and moved on peacefully to the afterlife, becoming a will-o-wisp, a blue little spark that leads people. So what's crazy is you have Marduk, Mardum, Marduk, the bear king, the Antichrist, the eldest, which is exactly what we have been talking about. So, Mordu or not, I'll avenge your mother, and I'll. Okay, yeah. So there's that. So I don't know, guys. Here's something. Okay, there's a lot of like 7, 8, maybe 12 videos I've done here of things you would have to deny around Donald Trump to kind of look another direction. Okay, whether he gets elected as president, selected as president, or either is waited until the Civil War kicks off and then steps in regardless after Civil War and World War breaks out, it is what it is. But you need to know this. What are the chances of the Baron and the Baroness having every single quality as the Antichrist? And also Donald Trump tying in with those things too. We got hoodlums out here riding around on four-wheelers at 9:15 at night here in the boonies. My mom would call them hoodlums. I don't know. They're probably good people. So if you hear the stuff going on around me, I live in the middle of sticks. But anyway, there's that. Pretty wild, pretty crazy. So I want to see if there was something maybe you guys missed, or if you have a question about something, or if you want to add to something that you know about Chitty Chitty-Bang, or that you know about Barron, or that you know about Trump, or about towers, or about the underground cities, or about the children that are taken in the cities, or anything of this. Is there anything you guys have to say that you would like to add to this? I'm so sorry it's so long, guys. It is 2 hours and 15 minutes. Oh man, I'm sorry. Anyway, are you guys getting it? Is it making sense to you? If not, it's okay. I love you guys are wanting to learn and be here in front of a screen so long. Check out that. I didn't even think about that. Ozzy Osbourne. Whoa. Oh, snap. Hey, look. So technically, we know that that name right there means, what was it? King, Bear King, Bear King. So that's pretty crazy. Wow. So there's that. Cool, cool, cool. All right. So there's that. Awesome. I don't see any questions. Don't see anything like that. I wanted you guys to enjoy this stream tonight because I've been doing a lot of kind of deep stuff lately. I like longer, Dustin, for what it's worth. 3+ hours. Hey, me, dude, I'll talk all day long. Let's see. Do you have an email posted? I can post that here for you guys. Yeah, I'll do that one. Okay, my email is here for whoever was looking for that. Awesome. Cool. If you guys need that, that's there. Let's see what else you got questions about. Truth is indeed. Well, there's one thing we have learned here on this channel. Truth is truly stranger than fiction. Man, I want to say this, guys. All of this is the opposite of what I got yesterday. I poured so much into that live stream on that other channel that I was excited about for a whole month. And I went and looked at the comments like a dummy. You know, I could barely find anything of somebody being kind. So, Chicago Gamer, man, thanks for being here. Ken, thank you for being sweet and kind and hearing me out. Thanks, Ain't Buying It, also, for also being there on that video yesterday, defending me at times too. I saw you there. Thanks for kindness. That means a lot. A whole lot. Rocky Shepherd, I saw you saying some very hateful things over there the other day. I'm glad you held it back over here. There's probably a reason why some of you guys got blocked. Most of the people that are blocked on my page got over there and were pointing out why they were blocked on my page. If you want to come up here and be mean to people, if you want to come up here and be hateful to people, if you want to come up here and say such ugly things to people, don't come on my channel. If you want to come here to learn and to love and listen, that's what I'm here for. This isn't your channel where you can, whatever, you come here to listen to me, not to bash me. So, I didn't sleep a wink last night. At all. My wife, like, she had a rough time last night too, dealing with me. But I went in the room 3 times and told her, I was like, I can't sleep. This has been the worst night of my life. And I kept going back and looking, and they're like, this dude's on meth. This dude's doing this. This dude's a heretic. This dude's hurts. And yet I'm over here with you guys, and it's incredible. Thanks. I really appreciate it. So, Daniel, I haven't seen you here before. Welcome to the channel. It usually shows me who you guys are new and stuff, but it's not popping up on my end. But all you new people here, make sure, matter of fact, I always have to show people this. If you're new to the channel, I need to show you this, especially if you come over from that other channel last night. There's something important that you need to know. If whatever, let me show you something real quick. Where is it? Okay, I gotta open this, put this over here, and then I gotta do this. Okay, sharing screen again. Okay, new people, make sure you check out our Facebook page, Beyond the Veil. I'll hide that current comment. I like your profile picture, though, Chicago Gamer. All right. When you go to my Facebook page, you're not going to find me if you look up Beyond the Veil. I am like so restrict. I showed some people some new restrictions that I just got this morning that were insane. But you're not going to find me in the search bar if you look for Beyond the Veil. The only way you're going to find my page is if you look for Dustin R. Barr. That's my name. And I put the R up there so you'll only find me. I'm usually the first one that pops up because of my middle initial that's in there. When you come to my personal page, Dustin R. Barr, if you're new to all this, the first thing I always encourage people to listen to is my story, my testimony, and see why I do this. I don't do this for money. I don't do this for any type of self-credit. I don't do this for any other reason than this is what I'm passionate for. And ever since my son died, this is the only thing I want to live for, is to serve and to teach and to lead to Christ. So make sure when you come over to my page, man, they have my testimony hidden on this page right now, which sucks. I had it pinned to the top. Anyway, go over to my Beyond the Veil page, and once you get here, there's my testimony, and you guys can follow along here. We are so busy over here all the time. This was where I got my recent restrictions on with stuff, crazy stuff like that. But I encourage you guys to come and follow us over here. It's mostly how you get in contact with me if you want to like get my opinion or viewpoint on stuff. That's where I'll do my commenting back and stuff. But the other important thing I want to show you, some of you new folks, is this. When you come to my page, I don't make videos. I like having conversations with people live off the top of my head so that you can see that God was telling the truth when he says, don't worry about what you're going to say. I will give you a voice to speak in a way in which the enemy cannot resist. Okay, so when you come to my page, I don't do regular videos. You're only going to see a very select tiny bit up here, and you're not going to get the recent ones. This is all you're going to get. Make sure you guys hit the live button, okay, and catch up on some few things. I'm excited tomorrow to get back into our apocalypse revelation study of chapter 1, 2, 3, 4. Tomorrow is going to be incredible. I can't wait. So tomorrow we'll be doing our apocalypse chapter 4. So if you're interested in that, these videos here are not 3 hours long. Well, hour 45, hour and a half, 2 hours. They're not 3 hours long. I didn't lie to you. Start here and catch up on these. If you want to learn about the Vril Society and Hydra and what I've been talking about with that, go here. If you want to learn about King James, I encourage you guys to learn about King James. Come here. And also check out all the other fun stuff. Okay. I don't think that you'll possibly be able to come back to the beginning. Now, these videos right here were horrible quality and stuff like that. I just learned what I was doing, but there's a lot of packed information in here. You guys can come check out this stuff, but if you're interested in the 1,000-year reign decode, start here and work forward with part 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think it's 7. All together of those, and then you need to get into some other stuff as well. I'm just trying to get you guys kind of on a right path. One of my favorite decodes, I think, started here with the Alice in Wonderland and the John the Unicorn of Death. If you want to watch kind of two of my favorites, if you want to know about the presidency and the old Egypt that is now living in the United States, that's all over here. Trying to think. This one's a kind of important little decode going on here as well for you guys to check out as well. I'm just trying to give you some good. Oh, and if you're stuck in the right-left paradigm, I encourage you to watch this right here. This is the one. Okay, so make sure you guys check all that out. And now that I'm done talking and talking, I about said babbling. I'm talking and talking. I'm gonna close out with you guys. Thank you guys so much for joining me today. I appreciate every single one of you for taking the time to listen and also share your points of view as well. I invite you guys back tomorrow night. It's going to be a little bit later because my Revelation studies aren't quite as long. We're going to do 8 o'clock tomorrow. That'll give me more time with my family for supper time. That way I can like at least spend time with them before they go to bed or whatever they do while I'm out here. So tomorrow we're going to be over here at 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And we're going to continue forward with our Apocalypse Chapter 4 study, which is a big one, okay? I'm very excited about it. So join me then. And also, Make sure you hit that like button if you want to on your way out. That would be great. Get the little algorithm jump so more people can get in here. If you guys can go in and get like 100 likes for me real quick, since there's 101 of you, hit the like button, get a little jump, hit the subscribe button if you're feeling frosty. And if you're feeling really frosty, hit the notification bell so that way you can get some notifications for when I go live again. If you want to help out with the channel in any way, whether it's prayers, always welcome. Whether it's a prayer request, check me out on Facebook. Our Beyond the Veil Fellowship page. My wife has actually started a little prayer chain group up there, I believe, last week, or maybe she was saying she was about to start it. That's about to be taking place as well. If you want some prayers, that's one thing I really love as well to do in my own spare time. It don't even have to be something presented in front of you on a camera. Most of my prayers happen at night when my family's asleep and I'm just sitting there not able to sleep, talking to God. Okay. Also, if you want to help out with the channel and page, I did share that way to do that down here in that little thing scrolling across the bottom of the page too. But I think that's all I have for you guys. I am going to get off of here. George, man, I didn't know you were up here. That's my brother, George. So cool to see him. I'm going to get off here though before I get more distracted. Love you guys. Have you a good night. And I'll see you on the next one. Good night from Beyond the Veil.